Google Stadia is here and it's coming specifically November, and we're going to see a Founders Edition, some extra package stuff, and the cloud gaming subscription is going to be looking pretty good for people with laptops and the target audience. 4K gaming, 60 FPS, streaming through the cloud. Pretty interesting for lower end spec users. We'll see how enthusiasts react, which we're kind of seeing some of that now, but let's just dive into Cloud Stadia Pro versus the base. So we're going to skip past some of this other little things. Basically, you can stream on your TV, your computer, laptop, tablet, and even phones. Pixel 3 and Pixel 3a phones first. They're going to be widening out the phone. It's coming soon, but we're going to skip past some of this. 4K 60 FPS is where you're going to be able to stream at. So that's going to be pretty high end. The game list, we'll talk about that specifically. But we're going to start off with Stadia Pro. So it's going to cost $10 per month. And it's going to be at first started off in a package, and then we'll see it potentially come out just for a regular subscription later on, as well as Stadia Base, which that is free, and that's coming out in 2020. So the differences are for Pro, you're going to get 4K up to 4K, 60 FPS, also HDR somewhere was mentioned, and then 5.1 surround sound audio. And then the base version is just going to get you up to 1080p resolution, still 60 FPS, and then stereo sound. And then it gets broken down a little bit past that after resolution. Basically, you'll be able to buy games on both of them. Obviously, you can buy whatever games are going to be utilizing. We'll talk about that more. And then in the Pro version, there are going to be free games released regularly. So starting off in November, you'll be able to get Destiny 2, the complete collection, so all the expansions, and even the most recent game. So that is good. And then you will be able to get discounts on select games as well. So that'll help offset the $10 a month cost if you're buying the games as well. So we'll have to see what games are coming out. But then the free version is you're not going to get any free games and also no discounts. So there's two different brackets you're going to be able to pick from. Stadia Pro, which again is coming out. We'll talk about the Founders Edition, which is coming out November 14th. So this is going to cost $129. So basically you're kind of getting early access into this, it seems. 2020, I would assume that we're going to have the $10 subscription, so you don't have to purchase the bundle. But either way, the bundle is going to get you, where was it? Founders Edition. Founders Edition, $129, $130. You're going to get the controller, which is $70. You're going to get the Chromecast Ultra, which is I think $70-ish, as well as you'll get 3 months, so $30 subscription, as well as 3 months for a friend, so $60 in subscriptions potentially. So I think they mentioned a $300 value somewhere in there, and then you'll be able to buy more controllers as you pre-order. So that is good if you want more controllers for $70. A little expensive, but controllers usually can get expensive at the start. And this is a Wi-Fi controller, and then the Chromecast is to plug into TVs, and there's an Ethernet port for hard to reach Wi-Fi areas they mentioned. So that is your options for the Founders, and then it's basically kind of like early access plus a bundle. I think you'll get a name badge, you'll get to pick your name sooner, your tag or whatever it is. So those are the things with the Founders Edition. And what else is there to talk about? A couple questions. There's a big FAQ sheet we'll go over a little bit as well, but we probably want to know the exact date, which is November 14th. So that is pretty soonish, couple weeks, months, but that is good. And then 2020 for the free version. You'll have to get the Founders Pack to get into the Pro version first. And what are you going to get game-wise for this? So as we mentioned, Destiny 2 was already the free game for the Pro version, the Pro subscription. And then here's a couple of the other games: Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Doom Eternal, Wolfenstein Youngblood, which I believe isn't even out yet. So that is coming. Metro Exodus, some other new games. The Division 2 just came out a couple months ago. Ghost Recon Breakpoint, that was announced. Borderlands 3 coming. So a lot of new games, and then a couple older games from this year even. Just Dance, Mortal Kombat 11, Rage 2. So not quite the biggest list, but this is they're starting off. They previously only did what was it? The Assassin's Creed Odyssey is a test, I think last year. So they're breaking out like, it looks like 30-ish games roughly. So that is coming November 14th. I believe these games will be available to purchase at the launch, I would assume. So a couple other questions after that. Connection speed. This is cloud gaming, so you're going to need internet connection. So what are you going to need? So for the Pro version, if you want the 4K 60 FPS, you're going to need around 35 megabits per second. So that's going to get you the 60 FPS. And then if you're only at 20, you're going to only get around 1080p, and then 720p for 10 megabits per second if you have a lower internet speed connection. So if your internet dips or anything, I believe they talked about it would just dip down to the lower resolution automatically while you're playing, or if there's some stutters or anything like that. If your connection disconnects even, I think it will try to like pause the game for a couple minutes for you to get back on. So that is positive, and negative if you have issues with internet. But if you have a lower end device, a lower end laptop, or just a lower end PC and you want to play at 4K 60 FPS, then this is one of the options and could be pretty interesting, potentially going to 8K in the future. So that could be pretty good. So what else? We got a couple more other FAQ little questions. Where is this coming? We had a whole list somewhere. US. So the only places not in the US it's not coming to is, I believe, Hawaii isn't. It's not coming to. Guam and the Virgin Isles. It's coming to Alaska and Puerto Rico. So a couple different areas there. Belgium, Canada. Here's your other list of different places it's coming to on November 14th. And then in 2020, it's going to expand into more areas. So that will be good. And then that's when they're coming out with the free version. Hopefully they expand to more phones besides just the Pixel 3 and Pixel 3a. So you'll be able to game on your phone for more phones. Like Samsung phones are pretty big, iPhones are pretty big. They mentioned specifically that the app, you could manage your Stadia app on the iOS, but you just can't game on it. Coming November 14th, I would assume. So pretty interesting. They mentioned it right there in the FAQ. Here's Hawaii, won't be included. What else are a couple other little tidbits in here in the FAQ? Game publishers will want to reach out stadia.dev, and basically Stadia cloud gaming on your browser or your TV. If you have the Ultra Chromecast, if you get into the Founders Edition, looks pretty interesting for the future of gaming. So that's pretty good. Lulu's got some thumbs up in the chat. So you want to game at 4K on a tablet or a phone, go for it, because you will be able to on November 14th. So with that, that pretty much covers Stadia Pro versus the Stadia base, the free subscription, not free games, just purchase your games and be able to play it on the cloud. So pretty good overall. We'll have to see how the latency comes. There were some people you can check out on YouTube. I think they mentioned that it's like between 100 and 200. Hopefully it gets even lower for the Google connection speeds. So with that, we will have another episode tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific with some more tech and game news. And aside from that, we'll be signing out. Pew, 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 pew.